At 0432 GMT, the Suez Canal erupts in fire and steel as 200 Iranian Kamikaze drones swarm toward USS Gerald Ford. The world's most advanced aircraft carrier sits trapped in a waterway barely 1,000 feet wide, surrounded by burning tankers and exploding cargo ships. 12% of global trade flows through this narrow channel, and Iran just declared it closed. Captain Sarah "Hurricane" Martinez watches her Phalanx CIWS systems track incoming threats while Iranian frogmen plant mines beneath her hull. One carrier, one canal, 8 billion people depending on the cargo ships burning around her. Her finger hovers over the general quarters alarm as the drone swarm closes to 2,000 meters. In 90 seconds, she'll either break the blockade or lose the most expensive warship in human history. Subscribe to Navy Warfare, smash like, and tell us, can a supercarrier fight its way through the world's most strategic choke point? March 15, 2025, Suez Canal, 0430 GMT. The MV Ever Champion explodes in a pillar of flame as Iranian Shahed 136 kamikaze drones slam into its superstructure. The 400-meter container ship becomes a floating inferno blocking the canal's southern approach, trapping 50 vessels carrying $200 billion in global commerce. Captain Mahmoud Hosseini watches from Tehran as Operation Khamenei's Fist unfolds, Iran's audacious attempt to strangle world trade. Canal is blocked at both ends. No commercial traffic can pass. The mathematical precision is devastating. 12% of global trade grinding to a halt, costing the world economy $9.6 billion per day. 600 miles south, Captain Sarah "Hurricane" Martinez receives flash traffic aboard USS Gerald Ford. Multiple merchant vessels burning, canal blocked by coordinated drone attacks. Iran has effectively closed the Suez to all traffic. The implications hit like physical blows. Her carrier strike group, USS Gerald Ford, cruisers Leyte Gulf and Monterey, destroyers Arleigh Burke and John S. McCain, plus attack submarine Connecticut, must restore navigation through humanity's most strategic choke point. Combat Information Center Iranian forces have declared the canal a combat zone. Set Condition 1 throughout the ship. General quarters alarms echo through compartments housing 4,500 sailors as the Ford transforms to combat readiness. But the carrier faces unprecedented constraints. The Suez Canal varies from 1,000 to 1,200 feet wide, barely room for the 1,106-foot carrier to maneuver. Commander Lisa Viper Chen leads Carrier Air Wing 5, her FA-18 Super Hornets loaded with AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles. But launching aircraft from a carrier trapped in a narrow canal presents tactical challenges no pilot is trained for. CAG, Iranian drones inbound from multiple vectors. We need defensive cap, but watch altitude. Power lines cross the waterway at 200-foot intervals. Lieutenant Commander James Reaper Williams monitors the Ford's defensive systems from CIC, his screens showing tactical nightmare. 200 Iranian drones converging from 6 directions, while the ship remains trapped in a waterway too narrow for evasive maneuvers. Captain, recommend immediate engagement with RIM-162 missiles. Multiple inbound threats at various altitudes and speeds. Martinez knows every defensive missile fired depletes her limited magazine, and the narrow canal prevents resupply. The Ford carries 2,900 tons of ordnance, but sustained combat against drone swarms could exhaust weapons within hours. If naval warfare reality interests you, hit subscribe. It keeps these tactical breakdowns coming. At 0435 GMT, the first wave appears on radar, 50 Shahed 136 platforms approaching at wave-top height. The carrier's close-in weapon systems begin tracking automatically, their 20mm cannons capable of 4,500 rounds per minute. But the mathematical challenge is overwhelming, 50 simultaneous targets while avoiding Egyptian infrastructure. Martinez authorizes engagement. All hands, Iranian forces are attempting to sink this ship and close the Suez permanently. We will not allow global commerce to be held hostage. Battle stations, weapons free. Time to first impact, 4 minutes, 30 seconds. 0439 GMT, USS Gerald Ford, Combat Information Center. Williams watches 200 Iranian drones approach from multiple vectors. The Ford's Aegis sensors track each threat, while calculating intercept solutions for weapons designed against traditional aircraft, not expendable kamikaze swarms. First wave, 50 Shahed 136s from bearing 045, altitude 150 feet. Second wave, 75 drones from 270. Third wave approaching from astern, mixed altitudes. Each Shahed 136 costs Iran $20,000, while Rime 162 interceptor missiles cost $1.8 million, an exchange rate favoring attackers. Martinez authorizes maximum range engagement. Batteries released. Engage all hostile contacts. The Mark 41 VLS erupts as Sea Sparrow missiles streak toward approaching swarms. 4 miles ahead, the first RIM 162 detonates, destroying 3 drones while 2 damaged platforms continue flying toward the carrier. Phalanx CIWS systems activate as backup defense, their distinctive buzzsaw sound filling the air as 20mm tungsten rounds streak toward targets at 3,400 feet per second. But 1.5-mile range provides minimal engagement time. On the flight deck, FA-18 Super Hornets catapult into narrow airspace above the canal. Commander Chen leads the first sortie, climbing through power lines lining the canal banks. Ford Base Viper 1-1, multiple drones visual, engaging with guns. Her M61A2 cannon fires 6,000 rounds per minute at Iranian drones, each burst calculated to destroy targets without endangering Egyptian infrastructure below. But Iran's attack includes lethal surprises. At 0441 GMT, USS Connecticut identifies multiple contacts beneath the Ford's hull, Iranian combat swimmers planting limpet mines on the carrier's underwater sections. Ford Connecticut, multiple swimmers beneath your keel. Recommend immediate counter-swimmer operations. The carrier cannot maneuver while confined to the canal. Martinez authorizes risky countermeasures. Deploy acoustic countermeasures. Launch USVs for mine detection. 8 Navy SEALs enter canal water through the boat bay, engaging Iranian swimmers in underwater combat beneath the world's most expensive warship. Senior Chief Shark Thompson neutralizes the first swimmer with his H&K P-11 underwater pistol, but 11 others continue their mission. Above surface, Egyptian F-16s join the engagement as damaged drones crash into Egyptian territory. President Sisi authorizes limited air defense. Activate all systems. Engage aircraft threatening Egyptian territory. At 0443 GMT, a damaged Shahed 136 crashes into the Suez Canal Authority building, forcing Egyptian military involvement in what began as bilateral confrontation. The Ford's second defensive wave launches as more Super Hornets catapult from the angled deck. Lieutenant Sarah Phoenix Garcia pilots the 5th aircraft, loaded with AIM-9X sidewinders optimized for close-range engagements. Phoenix cleared to engage all hostile contacts. Watch for Egyptian fighters. Her first AIM-9X destroys 3 drones with a single shot, but mathematics remain brutal. 200 attacking platforms versus limited defensive missiles and diminishing engagement time. At 0445 GMT, the first Kamikaze drone penetrates defensive perimeter. The Shahed 136 impacts the Ford's island superstructure, its 40-kilogram warhead damaging the AN/SPY-3 radar antenna and reducing defensive tracking by 30%. Damage control responds while additional drone waves approach. Comment your tactical analysis. Can traditional naval defenses stop modern drone swarms? We read every strategic assessment. The final Iranian wave launches. 100 drones approaching simultaneously from all vectors, designed to overwhelm remaining systems through sheer numbers. The Ford's magazines show concerning depletion. 60% of Sea Sparrows expended, CIWS ammunition at 40% capacity. Martinez makes the defining decision. Launch all remaining fighters. Weapons free on all hostiles. We're not losing this ship to flying lawnmowers. 447 GMT, 180 feet beneath USS Gerald Ford. Sonar operator Rodriguez paints 12 Iranian swimmers moving through his display, each carrying enough explosives to breach the Ford's hull. CIC, multiple swimmers placing charges on hull sections Charlie through Foxtrot, detonation in 6 minutes. Senior Chief Thompson leads 8 SEALs in underwater combat, his P-11 underwater pistol eliminating Iranian swimmers before mine placement completes. but several limpet mines are already armed with anti-tamper devices. Above surface, the final 100 drone wave converges on the Ford as remaining defensive systems engage at point-blank range. Commander Chen's Super Hornet fires her last AIM-9X at 6 approaching drones, the missile destroying the entire formation. Ford Base Viper, Winchester missiles, guns only. Multiple drones penetrate inner defenses. 3 Shaheds impact the flight deck simultaneously, creating a crater and igniting jet fuel fires. Damage control battles flames while incoming drones continue attacking. Captain, flight deck compromised. Cannot recover aircraft until fires suppressed. Below waterline, Thompson discovers completed mine placements throughout the Ford's hull. CIC dive team. Mines armed, cannot be removed. Recommend evacuate lower compartments. Martinez faces the critical decision. Evacuate affected compartments. Seal watertight doors. Prepare for underwater explosions. 400 sailors evacuate lower sections as watertight doors seal automatically. At 0452 GMT, 12 limpet mines detonate in sequence beneath the Ford's hull. Explosions ripple through underwater sections as the ship shudders from structural damage. Multiple hull breaches, progressive flooding detected, emergency pumping engaged. The Ford lists 2 degrees to port but continues fighting. Her robust design prevents catastrophic failure, while damage control procedures stabilize flooding. Egyptian air defenses eliminate remaining drones over their territory, while Ford's Phalanx systems destroy final threats. The immediate attack is repelled, but 120 miles of canal transit remain. Become a sponsor. Your support keeps these naval warfare analyses coming. Link below. Commander Chen approaches the damaged carrier at fuel exhaustion. Ford Base, Viper 1-1, State 2.1, requesting immediate recovery. Her fuel allows exactly 1 landing attempt. Chen's FA-18 descends toward the Ford's angled deck, while Iranian artillery opens fire from canal banks, creating massive waterspouts around the carrier. At 0458 GMT, Chen catches the number 2 wire in perfect carrier landing despite impossible conditions. Egyptian F-16s conduct counter-battery fire against Iranian positions as multinational engagement intensifies. 0505 GMT, USS Gerald Ford listing 3 degrees but operational. Damage control stabilizes flooding as the Ford continues north through the canal. Egyptian military coordinates with American forces as Iranian artillery threatens canal infrastructure. Egyptian Navy, USS Ford. Iranian forces preparing to destroy canal navigation. Request permission to engage in your territorial waters. President Sisi's immediate response. American carrier, authorized to defend canal navigation. Egyptian forces will support. Combined strikes eliminate Iranian artillery and demolition teams, while USS Connecticut destroys mini-submarines, placing additional mines. The tactical alliance between American and Egyptian forces proves decisive. At 0545 GMT, USS Gerald Ford emerges into the Mediterranean Sea. Captain Martinez surveys battle damage as morning sunlight illuminates scars from the most intense naval engagement since Deadliest. Crater damage marks the flight deck, shrapnel scars the superstructure, and hull flooding creates persistent list, but the ship remains operational and victorious. Navigators set course for Naval Station Rota. Communications transmit mission success to 6th Fleet. Behind the Ford, 200 merchant vessels resume transit as Egyptian authorities confirm navigation restored. 12% of global trade flows again while insurance rates return to normal. Iranian strategic failure becomes apparent as international opinion shifts against attacks on commercial shipping. The EU announces additional sanctions while Arab League condemns Iranian disruption. Global markets respond within hours. Oil prices drop 12% while shipping stocks surge on restored Mediterranean Red Sea commerce. The Ford's survival validates carrier operations in confined waters despite asymmetric threats. Regional power balance shifts as Egypt's cooperation with American naval forces signals alignment with Western interests over Iranian influence. Combat Alliance establishes precedent for future Middle East security cooperation. Comment your analysis. Does this naval victory change Middle Eastern power balance, or will Iran adapt new tactics? Share your strategic thoughts. The Suez Knot has been cut by American steel and determination. USS Gerald Ford sails into the Mediterranean carrying battle damage and honors from engagement, proving carriers can fight and win in humanity's most strategic choke points. The age of unchallenged Iranian intimidation has ended. The age of Allied naval cooperation has begun, written in combined firepower of American carriers and Egyptian F-16s, defending the waterway connecting civilizations.